Right now at 6, Jasper County authorities investigate a shooting they believe was a case of self-defense.
And we've got a cloudy start to the day, maybe an isolated shower or two. We'll have a look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, as many residents in the area struggle with their trash service, the city of Pittsburgh launches its own to help.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's now Tuesday. It's September the 3rd.
Yes.
Hard to believe.
There you go.
There we are. 3 days into September, and August was just like a minute ago.
I know. 2025 is going to be here in the blink of an eye. It really is.
Yeah, we've only got, what, 3 months
right?
now? Well, I mean, I guess if you go from now, about 3 months and 3 weeks, but still.
A few weeks away from fall, too.
The future.
Yes.
My parents used to believe that the 2000 was the future to them. They didn't expect to live to see the year 2000 because it was so far away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Y2K. It's another story for another day. For those who don't know, if you know, you know. But for those who don't, Google it. It's everywhere out there. And what you don't need to Google, though, is your forecast. And thankfully, no Y2K problems with the forecast. We are looking at cloudy skies out there to get our day started. This is our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Heading over to 7th and Range Line. Again, once we get a little more daylight, I can prove to you that it is cloudy. But we have the satellite over here on the other computer we have, and it shows that it is cloudy out there. And looking good, but still cloudy from the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin. Future track, look at all that cloud cover. There it is. We're going to spend today mostly cloudy like we did yesterday. The one addition to the future track are these little green splotches. Within these zones, we have about a 10% chance of an isolated shower or two, mainly in our southern counties. The best window of opportunity is going to be between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. But again, the majority of us will remain dry through the day. A little bit of a cool start out there once again. 61 in Joplin, 60 in Pittsburgh. Certainly feeling like fall, even though it's not quite here yet. And take a look at some of these temperatures. Still the cool spot in Iola at 56. Fort Scott's closing in on you, though. 59 in Chautauqua, Independence, 58 in Nevada. So chilly, but not bad. It could be a lot worse. We've seen some warmer Septembers out there. Kids getting on the bus, we're looking at low 60s, maybe some upper 50s, mostly cloudy skies. And when that bus brings them home, still mostly cloudy, maybe an isolated shower or two, and about the low 80s out there. We'll have an east breeze today at 5 to 10. The winds are beginning to turn around on us, and they'll continue turning around as we head into our Wednesday. Cloudy skies, low 80s, maybe some upper 70s out there, and then that isolated shower or two will be possible as we head through the afternoon. We do have some pop-up storm chances. It's also going to start to warm up a bit this week. Details on that here in just a few more minutes. Elise.
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Well, Joplin first responders were called to a fire late last night on South Pennsylvania Avenue. Firefighters worked quickly to control the flames on a vacant residence in the middle of Emerson neighborhood. The heat was so intense that parts of the siding on the south side melted significantly. The fire was under control around 12:20, and no one was home at the time of the fire. Joplin police are investigating the cause. The Fairview, Missouri woman convicted of shooting and killing her ex-lover has died in prison. 74-year-old Connie Sanders Ford was serving a life sentence at Chillicothe Women's Prison for the 2015 murder of 58-year-old John Jordan of Granby. Authorities say the two were having an affair, but after Jordan ended it, Sanders Ford shot him. Sanders Ford's death is considered to be of natural causes. Well, the Jasper County Sheriff's Office says a weekend shooting appears to be self-defense. It happened at a home at 117 South of 12th Street in Sarcoxie, Missouri. Deputies responded to that house for reports of a shooting and found 39-year-old Brian Jones of Sarcoxie with a gunshot wound. He was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and the sheriff's office says the shooter was identified and is cooperating with investigators. Authorities in Cassville, Missouri are asking the public for help in identifying the burglar in this security video. Now, this video shared by the Barry Lawrence County Crime Stoppers shows the burglar breaking into Fury Printing in Cassville last Wednesday night. Fury Printing officials say this is the second time the business has been broken into. The burglar in the video is seen wearing a ghost face mask from the movie Scream. If you have any information, you are asked to contact law enforcement. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, the city of Pittsburgh hopes to address residents' trash concerns with the official launch of a city-run trash service this week. This comes after many residents have reported issues with services like cards recycling and waste management frequently not picking up trash while still charging customers. KOAM Samantha Walker spoke with city staff and residents about what they hope to see from the new service.
We've stuck with it until we get the Pittsburgh ones.
Pittsburgh residents have a new option for waste management as the city officially launches its own trash service. This comes after reported issues with long delays in pickups from other providers.
The city's always in trash. We've always been in the trash business. What we're doing is just getting a little better equipment and assigning some personnel, because right now, when the trash doesn't get picked up by one of the contractors that's supposed to pick it up, it ends up falling to the city.
The service is available for anyone within city limits or who receives city water. The city now has 2 designated trucks, hundreds of roll carts and dumpsters, and a designated team.
So we're just making sure that we're there when they need us. If they want to use the city, they can. If not, we're going to pick up a ton of trash anyway, because that's what we always do.
City staff say residents aren't required to sign up for the city service. It's just another option. And because the trash service is supported entirely by its own fees, residents who aren't signed up aren't paying for it in any way.
We spent a lot of time on the fee to make sure that it would cover our costs, but not generate any additional revenue.
Some Pittsburgh residents say they're hopeful for the new trash service. They believe that a city-run one may have more accountability than other companies.
I was really excited about it because typically if the city does it, it's very dependable, reliable. You don't have to worry about large item pickup or even sometimes like recycling of leaves and branches and things. It's all included in your bill.
And for a resident like her who has lived in Pittsburgh for 20 years, the new service is a sign of the city's growth.
I feel like it's a sign that Pittsburgh is growing, and we're adding services and making things easier for the residents. I think it's a step in the right direction, and it's good for the residents of Pittsburgh, and I would hope everybody would sign up for it.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Residents signed up for the city trash service will not be charged for September as the new team learns the routes and stops. Customers will receive their first bills in October. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Ex-owner Elon Musk violates his company's policy and posts a fake AI image of Vice President Kamala Harris. Plus, pressure is mounting in Israel for a ceasefire and hostage release deal after the bodies of 6 hostages were recovered from Gaza. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from downtown Chanute, Kansas. Topping Nation Watch this morning. The Mega Millions lottery jackpot has climbed to an estimated $681 million. The cash option is $336.1 million. The jackpot swelled after no ticket matched all 6 numbers in Friday night's drawing. The next drawing is tonight, and if there's a big winner, it would be the 7th largest jackpot in the game's history. Workers at Boeing could be on the verge of a major strike. The aerospace developer and manufacturer's contract with about 32,000 union workers expires September 12th. A union leader said Boeing and workers are far apart on all of the main issues. That includes wages, healthcare, retirement, and time off. Boeing says it will continue to bargain with the union in good faith and is confident a deal can be reached. The company has been facing a number of other challenges, including fatal crashes, design flaws, and tanking aircraft sales. Well, there appears to be a fairly egregious case of billionaire do as I say, not as I do happening at X. Take a look at what ex-owner Elon Musk posted. This image shows what looks like Vice President Kamala Harris in a red communist uniform. Musk wrote Kamala vows to be a communist dictator on day one. Can you believe she wears that outfit? Of course, Harris never wore such clothing. This is a doctored image that clearly violates X's policy forbidding manipulated or out of context media that may deceive or confuse people. It comes days after former President Donald Trump also shared a phony image of Harris on X, in the platform formerly known as Twitter. Well, pressure is mounting in Israel for a ceasefire and hostage release deal just days after the bodies of 6 hostages, including one Israeli American, were recovered from Gaza. The hostages were taken when Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th. Yesterday, President Biden told reporters that Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is not doing enough to reach an agreement. Netanyahu called out President Biden by name as he defiantly called on the international community to direct their pressure at Hamas. Jared Hill has more from New York.
A third day of furious protests in Jerusalem as thousands demanded Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reach a ceasefire and hostage release deal. A court is forcing workers in Israel's largest union back on the job today after striking Monday caused industries to grind to a halt. The U.S. is also turning up the heat on the Israeli Prime Minister.
Do you think he's doing enough?
No. Yesterday, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris met with their hostage negotiation team, with President Biden adding he plans to speak to Netanyahu eventually. At a news conference, Netanyahu asked for forgiveness for not bringing the hostages back alive, and he forcefully pushed back on mounting pressure.
We're asked to make concessions? What message does this send Hamas? It says, kill more hostages. The pressure internationally must be directed at these killers, at Hamas, not at Israel.
Thousands gathered in Jerusalem Monday for the funeral of Hersh Goldberg Poland, the lone American out of 6 hostages found dead over the weekend.
Okay, sweet boy, go now on your journey. Finally, my sweet boy, finally, you're free.
Meanwhile, nearly 50 Palestinians killed this week alone, according to health officials, as strikes in Gaza and raids in the West Bank continue, with Netanyahu vowing that Hamas will pay a heavy price. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Yesterday, the United Kingdom said it would suspend some weapon exports to Israel over concerns they could violate international humanitarian law. Though the country stressed this is not a blanket ban, the UK sends a very small number of weapons to Israel compared to other countries such as the U.S. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, if we take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, you can see all those clouds out there continuing to stream in from the southwest and maybe even an isolated shower or two. Another look at your forecast when we come back.
A collection of the best photography entries are vying for the top spot in a prestigious competition and offers a look at the wild side of the world. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
Feast your eyes on the absolute cream of the crop of wondrous wildlife images captured from all corners of the world. It's just a taste of a collection of highly commended images making up the final round of the 2024 Wildlife Photographer of the Year competition. Put on by the Natural History Museum, London, the fantastical finalist images were whittled down from nearly 60,000 submitted entries, a new record for the competition, from photographers of all ages and experience levels from 117 countries. Highlights include a breathtakingly serene forest moment that looks like something out of a fairy tale, a terrifying stare down from a vicious predator protecting its precious catch, a bird's eye view of a glacier so massive the final image had to be stitched together from 26 separate frames, and this solemn sight of a deceased deer covered in frost on a forest floor, the first ever photo taken with a smartphone to be given a highly commended honor in the contest. All entries were judged by a panel on their creativity, originality, and technical excellence, and are vying for the top honors in multiple categories. Winners will be announced on October 8th, and 100 photographs from the competition will then headline an exhibition at London's Natural History Museum. While they weren't entered in any contests, at least Not yet, but a collection of stunning views captured in the stormy skies over Minnesota show a rarely seen combination of a full arching rainbow and crackling lightning bolts. Severe weather pushed rain and wind through the Minneapolis area, bringing with it eerie colors in the clouds, but it was the rare pair of spectacles up there that had cameras in hands and eyes on the skies. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
What a stunning rainbow. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a mostly cloudy start to the day out there for us, and is going to be that way once again for us through the afternoon. We do have some shower chances on the way, and we will have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:22 now on this Tuesday morning in the 4 states. We're going to start with the future track. So we've got mostly cloudy skies out there already. It's going to be that way through most of today again. However, one small addition is an opportunity for an isolated shower or two. The majority of us should remain dry, but we will have a window for maybe a light shower or two, mainly in our southern counties between about 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. Then once we go into the overnight hours, we'll actually start to see gradually clearing skies, which will allow for a few more of us to fall back into the upper 50s tonight. And as we head into Wednesday, we're looking at mostly clear to partly cloudy skies out there. Not a bad day. It's going to be a little warmer. We're getting more sunshine, so that's going to allow us to heat up a little closer to normal, but warmer than where we have been the last few days. Now we head into Thursday. By the morning, we start to see a few extra clouds out there, and we'll have the opportunity for an isolated pop-up shower or storm. Now, initially, they'll be confined south of I-44, but a little later in the afternoon, we can see a few more of these opportunities out there for some of us at least, and it'll also be a bit warmer because remember, pop-up storms feed off the daytime heating. They feed off that extra moisture, so a little warmer, a little muggier on our Thursday, and that will continue into our Friday as well with another possible round of isolated showers and storms. In Joplin, now that we're getting a little more daylight, you can see the cloud cover out there. We are mostly cloudy, 61, east-northeast breeze at about 3, and temperatures around the region, once again, a chilly start, 56, the cold spot in Iola right now, but we have 50s, Fort Scott, Nevada, Lamar, Independence, and Chautauqua, and then we've got the rest of us in the low to mid 60s to start the day. So again, for September, early September, not too bad. Mostly cloudy skies again through the day. Isolated shower chances will start to roll in mainly in our southern counties, and again, most of us are dry, mid 70s. Mostly cloudy skies for the majority of us today. Highs upper 70s and into the low 80s. We'll have an east breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, and it'll start to shift out of the southeast as we head into our Wednesday, and that's also going to start to usher in some of that warmer moisture air out there. Mostly cloudy through the evening, 70 by about 10 o'clock, and then lows into the upper 50s and low 60s once again with those clearing skies. As we look down the road, we have this initial warm up that puts us right about where we should be. Average high is about 88. And we're going to be relatively close to that Wednesday through Friday. Pop-up shower and storm chances both Thursday and Friday. The weekend, though, we're looking to cool down into the low 80s with plentiful sunshine out there. However, as we head into next week, things start to warm back up. We'll be around average on Monday and Tuesday. And then it's going to start to get hot again, back into the low 90s, so sending us above normal in the second half of the next work week. So again, enjoy these temperatures, enjoy this weekend, because we're not quite done with summer yet. We're going to have that unfriendly reminder as we head into next week. That's a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, teens with depressive symptoms are twice as likely to vape than other students. A study out of Australia surveyed more than 5,000 students. About 8% reported having used e-cigarettes before. Those with poor mental health, moderate or high stress, and low well-being were the students most likely to have vaped at some point. Well, false positive mammograms are discouraging women from getting future breast cancer screenings. A study led by UC Davis Health looked at more than 1 million patients. 77% of women with a negative result returned for future screenings, but only 61% returned after it was confirmed the mammogram was a false positive. And scientists have overcome a major hurdle for producing blood stem cells. A study published in the journal Nature Biotechnology hopes the breakthrough leads to personalized treatments for children with leukemia and bone marrow failure disorders. Testing in immunodeficient mice, researchers took human blood cells and reprogrammed them into stem cells that match what's needed for translation. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, Uniontown, Kansas celebrates Labor Day with 2 parades and a picnic.
And we've got a mostly cloudy start to the day out there, maybe an isolated shower or two. We'll have a look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, a Kansas City shopping center credits a roving security robot for a 50% reduction in crime.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's now Tuesday here in the 4 states, just past what was a long weekend for many, not necessarily for all, but for many of you. And hopefully it was a good one. Wasn't too bad. A little hot Sunday, though.
A little hot, but, you know, the start of the weekend was cooler temperatures, too, which was nice.
It was pretty decent. Nice. It was great yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the 80s, but it wasn't muggy. No. And with that light breeze, I mean, it was a pretty nice day. That's how it should be all the time.
Feel fall on its way.
Yeah. You can almost, you can definitely feel it this morning. But you're not going to feel it for long. We're going to start to heat up again next week. We'll worry about that in a minute, but let's get you out the door. First, with a look outside from our camera in downtown Pittsburgh, and now we're getting some daylight. You can see we've got those cloudy skies out there with just a little bit of daylight trying to get through. Our camera at 7th and Range Line, it went into black and white mode a few moments ago, and when it did, these clouds were much more defined. A lot easier to see, but you can tell we've got cloudy skies, no daylight breaking through there. And same now from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line. You can see that cloud cover just all the way around. And it's going to be that way again today. Mostly cloudy today. The only addition is about a 10% chance of a stray shower out there. The better chances are in our southern counties, but even those chances are relatively low. But a couple of showers here or there will be possible. The majority of us will remain dry and mostly cloudy. It won't be until overnight tonight that we start to see some kind of clearing take place. A little cool again this morning, like Elise mentioned. It feels like fall for sure. 61 in Joplin, 60 in Pittsburgh, and around the area we've had Iola as the cool spot, still holding on to that. 56 degrees. We got 50s again. Fort Scott, Nevada, Lamar, Independence, Chautauqua, roughly the same locations as the last couple of mornings that we've had 50-degree readings. The rest of us low to mid 60s. Kids getting on the bus, again, depending on roughly where you are. Upper 50s, low 60s, mostly cloudy, an east breeze at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Again, maybe an isolated shower or two. Otherwise, mostly cloudy when the bus brings them home. Low 80s out there. We're looking at highs. Most of us low 80s. Some upper 70s will be possible. We'll hold on to mostly cloudy skies. That east wind, as it continues to switch around and start to come out of the southeast by tomorrow, starting to bring in some warmer air for us. We're going to go over those details. And we're not officially in fall yet. We're going to get that reminder next week. Details on all of that here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right. Thanks, Chris. The 119th Old Settlers Weekend wrapped up in Uniontown, Kansas yesterday. Residents and visitors participated in a car show, children's parade, and picnic in the park. The event also saw vendors from throughout the community set up to sell handmade goods such as bows, jewelry, and artwork. And Old Settlers Weekend included several raffles to benefit different causes in the area.
We have sponsors from everywhere, and they come here. They come for the car show, they come for the vendors, they come to get together with their friends, enjoy the park, you know, it's a good time for everybody.
Picnickers also enjoyed food and craft vendors and carnival games on the Uniontown Square. One shopping center in Kansas City has greatly increased safety by employing a security robot. It's busted plenty of criminals, but don't worry if images of the enforcement droid in RoboCop pop into your head. As Brian Johnson reports, it doesn't quite work like that.
Hello, Kansas City. Security has a new look at Briarwood Center when it comes to stopping crime.
We're the best in the business.
This 5-foot-tall, 600-pound robot on wheels is named Marshall.
Even the toughest bodybuilder can't pick up Marshall and move him.
He's built on a smart car frame.
The definition of artificial intelligence security guard.
He has cameras in every direction, records 24/7. He's the only unit of its kind in public anywhere near Kansas City.
It is new to the Midwest. You do not see it here.
Marshall reads license plates. He even knows who you are when you walk by.
Anything that has an IP address, that IP address goes back to somebody.
Marshall doesn't pack heat. There's no lightsaber, no taser, but he has caught real criminals.
Marshall was able to provide the IP address and the license plate to the getaway car.
Amanda Bellamere is the property manager. At first, she doubted people would like him.
And the first thing out of my mouth was, no, it's not going to work.
Now 4 months in, she says he's reduced crime by about 50%.
I feel safer with it, most definitely, when I'm coming out from that gym late at night.
Shoppers like the idea, especially after they get over what can be an awkward introduction.
This area has always gotten a bad rap. Always gotten a bad rap.
Bellamere says those days are over. Now they hope to be a destination place, especially for tailgaters heading to the game or World Cup.
When it comes to this area, this is the safest area. Yeah, this is the safest shopping center.
Marshall patrols the parking lot 21 hours a day. It charges itself at random intervals for 15 to 30 minutes at a time. If you want a robot like this, the cost is about $300,000. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. DirecTV customers are still in the dark after the company blacked out some popular stations and streaming services. And we have a warm and cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from downtown Chanute, Kansas. In Consumer Watch this morning, for some cruise lines, bigger is best these days, with the ships boasting dozens of restaurants and accommodating thousands of passengers. But some cruise lovers are opting to downsize, drawn to less crowded boats, smaller ports, and more personalized service. In today's Travel Tuesday, Wendy Gillette hopped aboard a couple of them.
Kiss me.
Tom and Linda Christie, who split their time between Sun Valley, Idaho and Southern California, recently jetted to French Polynesia for a 7-night cruise on Windstar's Star Breeze, their second cruise together on the line.
We like the size of their ships. They're not huge. They're more intimate.
There's still plenty to do with daily excursions launched from a handful of islands, including diving for Tahitian black pearls at Anapa Pearl Farm in Raiatea, using a resort pass to spend the day at a hotel like Conrad Bora Bora Nui, or just lazing around on a private island.
Windstar started sailing here in French Polynesia more than 35 years ago and now offers journeys year-round.
The Star Breeze, that features some rooms with French balconies, underwent a multi-million-dollar renovation, but still carries just 312 passengers.
We get to know the crew better. They're a wonderful crew.
About a third of cruise ships hold fewer than 1,000 passengers. Overall, cruising keeps growing, forecast to increase at least 10% from 2024 to 2028. And the river cruise industry is also picking up steam, projected to grow 12%. River cruising is particularly popular in Europe. Ama Waterways offers wine cruises in Bordeaux, France. The ship Ama Dolce, which also invited us on board, docks in tiny villages to explore local wineries, making stops for the expansive views at Chateau de Prézac. the massive underground wine cellars at Chateau de la Rivière, and the new winemaking operation at Chateau Brenaire de Creux.
You go to the heart of the country, you go to the heart of the region, you go to the heart of the city, and then at the end you go to the heart of the people.
There are at most 150 guests on board, which means room to spread out and more French wine to drink. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
A hotel workers' strike grew this Labor Day with workers walking off the job in Baltimore. So far, more than 10,000 hotel workers have walked off the job in 9 cities, according to their union, Unite Here. It comes after contract talks broke down over demands for better pay and a return to pre-pandemic staffing levels. The strikes are expected to last 1 to 3 days and target multiple major hotel chains like Marriott, Hyatt, and Hilton. Well, DirecTV customers are still in the dark and have taken to social media to voice their frustration after the company blacked out Disney, ABC, and ESPN stations Sunday during coverage of U.S. Open tennis and right before the big LSU-USC college football game. In a statement, DirecTV blasted the company for demanding bundled services and moving some of its more popular programming to its streaming platforms. Disney says it has extended the same terms to DirecTV as it has to other service providers. And Krispy Kreme is going pink starting today. The chain is marking Barbie's 65th birthday with 4 new donuts served in a limited edition pink box. On September 7th, all customers wearing pink can also get a free glazed donut at participating locations. Well, new government numbers are giving us a look at how Americans spend their money over the summer, and the view could impact what happens to interest rates later this month. Emily Schmidt reports what this could mean for you.
In summer terms, the 4th of July may feel like a lifetime ago. But in economic terms, what was happening then is just now coming to light.
Consumer spending was strong in July. 0.4% for the month, just below 3% year over year.
Commerce Department figures released Friday show stronger than expected spending, with the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, or PCE, inflation gauge holding steady. That's also better than expected.
It means continued movement in the right direction with easing inflation.
You may have noticed one sign already.
We are actually seeing relief at the pump. So $3.35 national average. That's a reduction of about 50 cents since last Labor Day and the lowest Labor Day gas prices we've seen in 3 years.
The numbers in the Commerce Department report are likely to play out on the campaign trail over the next 2 months as both inflation and borrowing costs continue to be top concerns for voters.
I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%.
Together we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation so that everyone can afford groceries, a car, and a home.
But the most critical result of the PCE could become clear in just a couple of weeks when the Fed announces if it will or will not cut interest rates for the first time since 2020. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt.
That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're going to start with a look outside. Now we've got some daylight. You can definitely tell it is still mostly cloudy out there. We're looking back toward the east from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. A little bit of sunshine trying to get through. That's why we call it mostly cloudy because, oh no. Okay, we stopped it. There was a sneeze coming. And I stopped it. Our camera at 7th and range line. Again, mostly cloudy skies. Sunshine is hiding behind the trees, but it's trying to get through out there. And another view of all those clouds from MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin as well this morning. Future track for today showing us an opportunity, to still be mostly cloudy to just cloudy, and for some isolated shower chances out there, primarily in our southern counties between about 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. But even where the rain's showing up, it's about a 10, maybe 15% chance of a stray shower or two. The majority of us will remain dry. Quick look at temperatures: 61 in Joplin, 60 in Pittsburgh. We've still got some upper 50s out there as well. We might even see more of these as we head into tomorrow morning. 56 is in Iola, and that is the cool spot. But again, 50s Fort Scott, Nevada, Lamar, Independence, Chautauqua, roughly the same locations that were in the upper 50s yesterday morning at this time. Kids getting on the bus, doing so in most cases in about the next 15 minutes or so. Upper 50s, low 60s, mostly cloudy, east breeze at 5 to 10. That's the other thing, is we've had the northeasterly breeze here lately. It's beginning to turn around on us. Mostly cloudy skies when the bus brings them home, low 80s for most of us, and again, maybe an isolated shower or two. We do have some warmer temperatures on the way. We also have some pop-up storms on the way. We're going to look at all that here in just a moment, as well as birthdays and anniversaries. But first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Dana Jacobson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson will be here in studio to discuss her new memoir. And swimming superstar Katie Ledecky talks about her dominant performance at the Paris Olympics. That is coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays in the 4 states. We're going to start in Parsons with Jackson Cohen, celebrating birthday number 9 with love from your family.
And a happy 41st birthday to Amy Hummel. Says here, you are the best. Love your family.
And we've got Dixie Aldridge celebrating birthday number 91. A very happy birthday to you, Dixie.
And over in Columbus, a happy birthday to Justin Cobberly.
And the party continues in the bus with Janice Sandberg celebrating another year wiser. A very happy birthday to everyone on this list. A little short, probably because everybody was off yesterday. Didn't even think to submit birthdays and anniversaries. But if you want to, where should they send them?
Yes, go ahead and submit those birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays at KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those photos and wonderful messages as well. And to, of course, meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen.
Certainly, you do want to do that. And you do want to be prepared for, well, mostly cloudy skies. Shouldn't need much in terms of sunglasses or the sun visors this morning as we're looking at those cloudy skies to start the day. MoDOT camera 20th in range line. KDOT camera 69 Kansas Crossing. It does not need to be pointed at the sky for it to be obvious that it is cloudy, because there is no sunshine appearing on this particular road right now, because we're all going to be mostly cloudy once again today. As we mentioned earlier, we have an opportunity for an isolated shower or two. A 10, maybe 15% chance of that happening. Better chances in our southern counties of seeing something, but odds are most of us will be dry. We'll go into the overnight. We'll actually begin to clear out. And for our Wednesday, we're looking to be mostly clear to partly cloudy. With more sunshine, it's going to start to warm up. And then you tap that in with a southeasterly breeze that's expected to roll in as we head later into the day on Wednesday. That's going to bring in warmer air. It's also going to bring in some higher dew point humidity levels, and that's going to set the stage on Thursday for an opportunity for some isolated pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Now, in the first half of the day, the better chances are really confined south of I-44, but then with the pop-up storms, as you can see those little spots popping up here and there, we'll have that opportunity for them a little more widespread as we head into the afternoon hours on our Thursday. But it's only about a 20% chance. You know how the pop-up storms work. A lot of folks don't see anything. You may see it off in the distance. Your neighbor's getting it, but you're not getting it. And the other problem is the pop-up storms feed off daytime heating and the extra moisture in the air, which means it's going to be a little muggier. It's going to be a little warmer. Take a look at these temperatures by 5 o'clock on Thursday. In most cases, we're going to be at or relatively close to normal, but that's going to be a lot warmer than where we have been, because normal is about 88, and we've been in the upper 70s and low 80s the last yesterday, and we'll do so again today. So it is going to make it feel hotter compared to where we are, but it won't be that terrible. Here's another look at those cloudy skies from our camera at 7th and range line. Sun is trying to peek through, but that's also why we call it mostly cloudy, because it's not just a shield, but it's mostly a shield. All right, 61 in Joplin, east-northeast breeze at 3 miles an hour. Temperatures, again, Iola still hanging on as the cool spot at 56. Otherwise, some upper 50s, low to mid-60s. So another very fall-like start to the day. And at least in terms of our temperatures today, another very fall-like day out there. We're going to start off a cool, low 60s, eventually make it into the mid-70s out there with those mostly cloudy skies. And again, an isolated chance for a shower or two. Again, also mostly in our southern counties, if we see anything at all. We're going to have another look at your forecast, talk about the summer heat that's on the way in a moment, as well as the news you need to know. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to see how rescuers go to great lengths to help save a cat that had been stuck in a pipe for a week.
check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. 74-year-old Connie Sanders Ford of Fairview, Missouri has died in prison. Sanders Ford was convicted of shooting and killing John Jordan in 2015. Authorities say the two were having an affair, but after Jordan ended it, Sanders Ford shot him. Her death is considered to be of natural causes. The Jasper County Sheriff's Office says a weekend shooting appears to be self-defense in Sarcoxie, Missouri. Deputies responded to reports of a shooting and found 39-year-old Brian Jones of Sarcoxie with a gunshot wound. He was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The Sheriff's Office says the shooter was identified and is cooperating with investigators. And authorities in Cassville, Missouri are asking the public for help in identifying the burglar in this security video. This video, shared by the Barry Lawrence County Crime Stopper, shows the burglar breaking into Fury Printing in Cassville last Wednesday night. The burglar in the video is seen wearing a ghost face mask from the movie Scream. If you have any information, you are asked to contact law enforcement. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, and again, another cool start, mostly cloudy skies through the day, upper 70s, low 80s for those highs, and maybe an isolated shower or two in our southern counties, most of us dry. Will be mostly cloudy through the evening, about 70 by 10. Overnight lows, upper 50s, low 60s again with clearing skies. So another very cool fall-like evening, but with skies clearing, that should allow many more of us to go into the upper 50s potentially for those lows. We're going to start warming up, a little closer to average Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Upper 80s, pop-up storms Thursday, Friday, a little cooler this weekend, so enjoy it because it is going to get hot next week. We're not quite officially to fall yet, and those 90-degree readings will remind us of that as we go a little above normal. So enjoy the next few days, maybe a bit cloudy here and there, but at least it's cool.
Absolutely. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making cinnamon bun poke cake in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Katie Ledecky is the most decorated American female Olympian of all time. Ahead on CBS Mornings, the swimming superstar joins the show to talk about her history-making performance at the Paris Olympics and her new book about her life.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, hotel workers across the country went on strike this Labor Day weekend. We'll hear how the strike affected holiday travel.
And Charlene Patton joining us in the studio with another incredibly healthy recipe. However, that's going to wrap it up for us for now. I know you're very sad, but it's all right because we will be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.